Okay, is the screen visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to deal with three sets of questions or questions from three different topics. One is on syllables, then on stress and aspiration. If you had attended the last session, or if you have at least seen the session, watched it from the recording, then we will have discussed extensively about the stress patterns in English in the last class. Okay, so how do you decide for which syllable in a word is stressed? How do you mark that stress? More importantly, how do you identify how many syllables? How do you count the number of syllables in the word? And then a little bit about, what do we mean by syllabification? What do we mean by stress, right? What part of the word or what part of the syllable in a word carries the stress, so on and so forth, right? So we did both a little bit of a theory as well as we looked at a few examples of how it worked. We also looked at a few rules, right? All of those rules that we have. Your lecture has it, but then we went over a few of them. Just a bit, a bit of a problematic ones, which people usually get them. We see that people usually get certain kinds of words wrong because of the kind of patterns of stress that you see in them. So in that, I think more prominently what we've discussed is that the prefixes in a word, right? So if a word has a prefix, for example, if it has, uh, if you have a word like misplace, right? I think that was the example we used. So if you have something like that, then we don't usually what we do is we do not mark that for a stress, right? So misplace we do not use any stress there. Instead, we just carry it over to the next one. That's what we saw. Okay. Uh, so these kind of questions we just looked at in the last class. So what we'll do now is we'll go over these questions and then we'll see if you're able to mark the stress or not. So, Shailesh, I think you're the only one here. There were others who I can't see anymore. So,
Yes, ma'am. They all left.
yeah, that's okay. Fine. So, we'll continue looking at this exercise and we'll try to finish off. So, I know that I have not discussed aspiration in the last class because I thought I'll do it along with the worksheet when we have the questions because it's clearer that way. We'll have some examples in front of us to discuss. So that we'll do when we go to the questions on aspiration. So I think we can begin with the first one. So the first one is, I think it's easier. The only thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to count the number of syllables, right? So one thing that you keep in mind for knowing the number of syllables is that syllables in a word or the syllable count in a word um, is equal to the total number of vowel sounds, right? Vowel sounds in that word. So this is one thing that you need to keep in mind. That's all that you need to know as far as syllabification is concerned. I know that jaw dropping and all that has been discussed. You can use it, but then I wouldn't say that it is a totally foolproof method to understand syllables. What would be, I think, error free would be to look at the number of vowel sounds in the word so that you don't go wrong on the number of syllables. So let's start then. The first word you have here is magnificent. How many do you think? How many syllables? So look at the number of vowel sounds. So there's the word is magnificent, right? So you have mag, ni, fi, and cent. These are the as
Four.
in these four, right? So if you also look at the word clearly, you'll see that in these four syllables, each of those syllables carry vowel sounds, right? So you have a in the first one, then e in the second one, again e in the third one, and then and which is the unstressed vowel schwa in the last one. So four syllables in total and four vowel sounds in total. Okay, then the second one is automobile. Automobile.
5.
5. Which are the ones?
And A, To, Mo,
Hmm.
Be, L.
Do you say automobile or do you say
I'm only 4.
automobile?
4. 4.
4 of them, right? So automobile. Actually, there's no O sound. There's O, and E. That's how you say it. But anyway, whatever the actual articulation and pronunciation is, it has 4 syllables. Then the next one is drastic.
2.
2, yeah, drastic has 2. Dra and stick. Okay. Factory. 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 This is a little
3.
tricky. 3. So it has factory. Some of the people would want to omit, particularly in the Indian context, because the articulation sounds like factory, right? But it should be factory. Factory. 3 syllable word. Then audible. Next one, audible.
3.
Audible again has 3. So audible, right? Manchester. Manchester. Next one is Manchester.
3.
Manchester also has 3. Yes. India.
3.
India. India. Okay, let's see. India has 2 or 3.
Then 3. I
Do
think.
you say India or is it India?
India.
It is India. India. Again, these are some of the words. Usually, this happens when there are two uh, vowel sounds that come next to each other, as in the word factory and in India. So people have a tendency to articulate them as diphthongs. Yeah, but these are on 2 different syllables. India, right? So India, correct. Then comes pandemic. Pandemic.
3.
Yeah, pandemic has 3. Yes, correct. Then you have the next one is traveler. Traveler.
3.
Again 3. Traveler also has 3. Then comes medical.
3.
Medical. Medical also has 3. It's like too small. Let's make it a little bit. Traveler, medical. Then comes fate.
2.
Fate. Fate. Listen to that again.
2.
Fate. So which are the 2 syllables? Tell me. What are the 2 syllables in fate then? If it has 2.
Fair. 2. I think only 1.
Only one. It only has one A. Fate. So it has a diphthong, right? And it is only one. Fate. T doesn't have a. You don't hear a sound after T. There is no vowel
Yes,
sound.
ma'am.
The only one you hear is the sound is that inbuilt one. It's not a separate one. Fate has only one syllable. Then comes career. Career. Career.
And 3.
Career. This one has a diphthong. It has only 2 syllables. So you have ka and then rear. That ear that you hear is actually a diphthong sound. Okay, this word should be familiar if you were there in the last class, because remember we looked at a few words and we said that okay, this one will carry the stress on the syllable carrying the diphthong, because whenever there is a diphthong or a long vowel in a syllable, then automatically that syllable gets the stress because of the syllable. Sorry, because of the syllable weight, right? So keep this in mind. Career is a disyllabic word, which takes the stress on the second syllable because that second syllable carries a diphthong. So, another example was refugee, right? Refugee is a trisyllabic, it has 3 syllables, but again, the stress is on the last syllable G because it carries the long vowel. So, this is 2 syllabic, okay? Don't forget this. Career is 2 syllabic, it's disyllabic and has 2 syllables, ka and ria. Then comes falsification. Falsification. falsification.
Ma'am, 5.
5. So falsification, right? 5. Trigonometry. Trigonometry.
5.
Trigona. Tree. Tree.
Go.
Na.
No.
It's
Man.
tree. The
3.
first one is tree. Okay. So tree. Na. A tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 syllables. Then comes binomial. These are all examples I'll write because uh, sometimes the diphthong construction is omitted by the speaker. Sometimes uh, they don't identify the diphthong constructions. So binomial.
Ma'am, 3 or 4.
I'll say that again. I'll say that again. So it's binomial.
4.
4, right? Binomial. So the last one, then it is the idea here is that the last one is not a diphthong. A lot of people would say binomial. So they'll say it's a ear uh, diphthong. But that's not the case. The binomial is binomial. Okay, so me and L are two different syllables. Binomial. Then next one is pollution. Pollution.
3.
3. Pollution. Correct. Contest.
2.
2. Contest is 2. Improve.
2.
Improve. 2. Yesterday. Yesterday.
3.
3. Yesterday. 3. Then comes scrupulous. Scrupulous.
3.
3. Right. There's also screw, pure, less. Okay. So 3 of them. So you can count the number of syllables in any word you want based on that one rule that you have, which is look at the total number of vowel sounds that you have in each of the word to identify the number of syllables. Okay, that is a direct count of how many syllables a word will have. So uh, please keep that in mind. Now we'll look at the second exercise. This is on stress marking. I hope you are well versed with the rule. I think the only thing that we did not discuss that day was the stress on compound words, right? I don't remember discussing that. Everything else we did discuss. We discussed about the stress on monosyllabic words and disyllabic words and trisyllabic. I think everything we looked at based on word classes also we looked at. And then suffix and prefix also we looked at. But I think we did not talk about stress in compound words. So let's take a few examples. So before we work on this question, I would like to discuss a little bit on. So in compound words, you can have multiple types of compounds. Okay, so there could be compounds between noun and noun. So you have a noun plus noun compound sometime, right? Compound is basically combination, a word formed by the combination of two words, two different words, two free morphemes. Okay. So then you can have a noun plus noun compound. You can have a noun plus adjective, right? Noun plus adjective, or rather, I think, let's say adjective plus noun compound, because that is usually the order. Adjective plus noun compound, right? So you can have you can have more compounds, but I think the most commonly found compounds in the English language is the combination of a noun and a noun, and then a noun and a sorry, an adjective and a noun, right? So let's look at that one. Let's take few examples, right? Let's say football. I'll just give you a few words. We can work on those words just for the sake of it. Then um, I like these words. I'll put them. Good. So 3 words of the noun plus noun compound. Then I'll also look at the uh, what is that compound adjectives. So for that, what do I use? Let's say, can say short, Maybe that is one thing that we can use. So if you look closely, how do you differentiate between the noun compounds and the adjective compounds? Usually the adjective compounds, they come with a hyphen in between, right? So when you form an adjective noun compound, the adjective and the noun in the compound is separated using a hyphen, right? But in noun compound, you will not see that. They're usually fused together. They're not written separately. So short and word, then let's get something else. Yeah, let's say old fashioned, or let's say red collared. Should have said white collared. Okay, anyway, red collared. So we have like a set of words here. The first set is the noun compound, football, homework, blackboard. And second one is the adjective noun compound, which is the short tempered, old fashioned, and red collared. Okay. Now, how do you stress in the noun plus noun compound? Because it's a noun, which means both the parts involved in the compound, they are both nouns, right? So it doesn't really matter if you shift the stress to the second word, right? It doesn't make much sense also. So naturally, the stress is on the first word. Naturally, the stress is going to fall on the first word since both the categories are same. What difference is it going to make, right? So between two noun compounds, it's not like you're going to put one as a superior to the other. So since both are from the same class, we are going to just use the uh, elementary stress or the by default stress, which is on the first word. So then football would be stressed. With the stress, you will write the word football like this. Uh, I'm just writing it down in the chat. And then the third one you have is blackboard, right? Blackboard. So it's football, homework, and blackboard. Okay, stress is automatically on the first one. Yeah, Shailesh, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
May I want to ask that tricolor is noun or adjective noun?
Which one? Tricolor.
Tricolor.
Tricolor is basically, it's like a, it's not a compound per se. It's like a, word with a prefix. Tri is a prefix that is added to that word. So it's not a compound. Okay.
Okay.
Compound, see, for something to be compound, you need to, both the words in the pair have to be independent on what we also call as free morphemes. So unless they are free, as in free morpheme, we mean that they both have independent existence and they have their own meaning, like say blackboard or short temper. There are two different words, they have their own meanings and they're just compounded to form a new word. That's it. But in try to her, try is it's a bound one, right? On its own, it doesn't have an existence, right? Unless you add it to another word, you cannot have its own existence.
Okay,
Right?
I understood.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So that's not a con. Then you have yeah. So in the noun combination, the by default stress is on the first noun in the compound. So always it's on the first word in the compound. Then in the adjective one, the stress is on what? Obviously on the noun, right? So if you have a noun in a combination with anything else, the stress automatically falls on the noun. It cannot go on to anything else. So between adjective and noun, if you have a combination, then again the stress is going to be on the noun, right? So so the point is anything that is more material and something that is more prominent, something that can be very prominently referred to, right? If you can make a reference to it in the real world, that is obviously going to take up more importance. So if you look at adjective, like adjectives like short or old, these are abstract, right? We understand what they are, but then they do not have a material reference. So if the combination is between that and the noun, obviously the noun is going to be the more important thing that is prominent thing in that, and the stress goes on. So stressing compounds or in compounded words work a little differently than the ones that you see on individual words, right? So here the practicality takes the front seat. Okay, we don't look at the rules or the syllable distribution as such. In compounds, usually we say, okay, between a noun and a noun, since they are both of the same stature, we by default mark it on the first word, first noun. Between a noun and an adjective, obviously noun is more prominent, so we mark it on the noun, right? So it works there. Which is why if you have a word like short-tempered, then your stress is going to be marked on the second one, right? Or you have something like old-fashioned, or let's leave behind old-fashioned. Let's take yeah, old-fashioned. Same. That's the example we. So old-fashioned, the second one, the adjective will not take it. The second one is going to take it. Fashion. Just a second. Okay. All right. Or say even if you have a compound like dark green, something of that sort, then again it's going to be dark. Is going to not have the stress. Green is the one that's going to take because that's a noun. Okay. So that's the rule. Um, any other things? Yeah, mostly the compounds are between the noun and adjective, right? Yeah, that's all. So I think this part we did not discuss in the last class. We discussed all the other rules. So keep this also in mind. Huh. Oh, there is one more thing I think I have not discussed. One is that is the functional stress. Okay. So functional stress is there are some words which can be used both as verbs and nouns, right? So I think the example we have in the um, lecture is object, right? So this object is a word which can be used both as a noun and a verb, right? So the stress on object then is different when it's functionally different in its use, right? So when you use object as a noun in a sentence, then obviously any noun we know is stressed on the first syllable. So then when used as a noun, object is stressed on the first syllable, right? Object has two syllables. It's a disyllabic word. When used as a noun, the first syllable in object is stressed. If you're using it as a verb, right? If you're using it as a verb, then it is stressed on. Where do you stress the um, verbs in general? What is the stress pattern for disyllabic verbs? First syllable or second syllable? Same thing, right? You should know this rule. Usually, all the nouns disyllabic.
Second.
Uh, huh. All the adjectives and nouns and adverbs we've learned this rule in the class, right? All of them disyllabic, trisyllabic. There's stress on the first syllable, right? And verb, every time you have a disyllabic verb, it's stressed on the second syllable. Uh, what about the trisyllabic verbs? Trisyllabic verbs, where is the stress? First syllable or second syllable? We discussed
Ma'am,
this in the
second.
last class. Where is the stress in trisyllabic verbs?
Ma'am, I had not attended the last class.
We have not attended the last class, but we have attended the lectures, no? You've watched the lectures, right?
Yes, ma'am. I think second.
Okay, so let's look at this. If you have a, verb which has three syllables, let's take an example. You tell me where the stress is. Decorate. Decorate. So this is a verb which has three syllables. Tell me where is it stressed.
Go.
You may be right also. You don't have to think that, okay, because I did not get an immediate yes, I'm wrong. So where do you stress? Second syllable.
Second.
Yeah, am I right? Yeah. So even in the case of trisyllabic verbs, you'll see that the stress is usually for the verb, it's always most of the times on the second syllable. You able to hear me clearly because I see that the net is quite slow this time. Okay. My voice is clear, right? You don't hear any noise or
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not breaking
Clear.
and all, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is one thing that we need to be careful about. So in trisyllabic verbs, it's not as easy to decide like you do in disyllabic. In disyllabic, all verbs are they are stressed on the second syllable. There's no doubt on that. But when it comes to the trisyllabic uh, verb, the situation could be a little different, at least in some cases, right? So a lot of this is dependent on whether whether your verbs carry any prefix or not. Okay, so you said second one, but the answer is that the uh, trisyllabic verbs, they take the stress on the first syllable. They're always stressed on the first syllable. Okay, keep that in mind. Trisyllabic verbs, they will be stressed on the first syllable, right? Even if it has like a prefix. Okay, disyllabic it is second, and trisyllabic verbs, they are stressed on the first syllable, right? So keep that in mind. So what were we discussing actually? Yeah, so functional stress. So functional stress is another category where you have disyllabic words, which are used both as, sorry, disyllabic words that are used both as noun and verb. So when used as a noun, it will follow the rule that the nouns are stressed on first. When used as a verb, because it's a disyllabic verb, it's going to be stressed on the second syllable. Okay, so functional stress, because the stress differs in the same word based on its use as a noun or a verb. That's why it's called functional stress. Okay. All right. So if this part is understood, then I think we are safe to carry on with the exercise. Let's look at it. I'll scroll it a
Yes.
little bit. The first word that you have is duration. So now keep in mind we are taking a lot many rules together. So we have rules about the class based on the class, whether it's a noun, adjective, or a verb or a verb. We also have it based on whether it's disyllabic, trisyllabic. Third one, we also have it based on functional stress, whether the same word is used as a noun or a verb. Then we have it on compound, which is the fourth subsection. And then the last one is based on the suffixes that they get. Right? So keep all that in mind. Then you have duration. The first word is duration. Where would you mark it? Just tell me the syllable where you will mark it. You don't have to tell me anything else.
Second.
Which is ray, right? Duration. So second one is what you mark. Why? Can you also tell me the reason?
I feel more stress on that.
No, no. That is not the answer. There has to be a technical answer for why we say it's duration and not duration. Because of the suffix, right? It has a shin suffix. That is a suffix which would move the stress to the syllable that is right before the syllable carrying the suffix shin. So penultimate syllable. So the shin suffix is what is moving the stress to the second one. Ray. Okay. And then the second one, legal. Legal. What
First.
kind of word is this legal?
The
First
name.
one, that's
Oh,
right. This is an adjective. Legal is an adjective.
yes.
It's a disyllabic adjective and it's marked on the first syllable. Next
First
one.
level.
Okay. Next one is wealthy. Wealthy. Wealthy nice.
Second one.
Wealthy is no, it's not on the second one. It's on the first one. But do you know what is the reason for that? We mark it as the wealthy. This is how you mark it on the first syllable. But what's the reason? What is wealthy? What's the word class? What category word is this? It's an adjective, right? So it's a disyllabic adjective, and hence the stress is on again the first syllable. Okay? Now, recommendation. Recommendation.
Second one.
Second one, no, it's not on the second one.
Third.
Hmm?
Third.
Which is what? Don't tell me second and third. Tell me which syllable it is.
Recommend.
Dason.
Which one? Sorry.
Dason.
Station. No. So there are two different syllables. Among this, which where is the stress? You have recommendation. So day and shin are two different syllables. Among this, which one do you have the stress?
And then
On day,
D.
right? Recommendation. So the penultimate syllable, that is what is it called. Okay, so you have the shan suffix If you have a shen suffix in a word, then the stress is always on the penultimate syllable. Okay. And penultimate syllable before the syllable carrying the suffix. Okay. Then imagine. There could be some exceptions sometimes. So I think this is one such word which has an exception. But what is imagine? What kind of a word is imagine? You tell me that first. Is that a noun or adjective or adverb or what is it? Imagine.
Ma'am, noun.
Imagine. Then what is imagination? Imagination is a noun. So imagine is what? To imagine something. It's a verb, right? It's a verb. So this particular verb, however, it doesn't carry the. So I told you that trisyllabic verbs. Now this is a trisyllabic verb. So imagine has three syllables. So ideally, if you follow the rule, right, it should be marked on the first syllable. All trisyllabic verbs are marked for stress on the first syllable. This is an exception. Okay, you won't get these kind of exceptional questions in the exam. But I just wanted to show you how our stress pattern is not applicable to all the words in English. So in imagine, please keep checking your chat box also. I'm leaving the answers there. So in imagine, the stress is on the second syllable, right? So don't bother with that. I just wanted to show you since the word showed up in your exams, you won't get questions which don't follow the the I mean your words will mostly be from that 80% cohort which follows the. So in usually a trisyllabic verb, the stress is always on the first syllable, right? So we looked at that example of decorate, right? So this is how decorate would be stressed. So the first syllable is what is uh, the one which will take the stress. But in imagine, it's in the second syllable for some odd reason. We do not know what it is. However, if you have a word like imagination, which is a word that we have coined, derived from the verb imagine, which is a noun, right? Imagination. So in imagination, where do you think the stress would be? Remember, it has the shin suffix. Where do you think the stress will be in imagination? Which syllable will take the stress in imagination?
Ma'am, second.
Tell me the syllable. Don't tell me second, third. When you say second, then I don't know what are you. Are you talking about the second from last or the first one? Tell me the syllable straight.
M-A, मैं.
Which one? Sorry.
Ma'am, मैं.
No,
M-A.
no, no. That is wrong. This is why I told you that there's a shun suffix. The moment you have shen, it will cause a change in the stress pattern. It will pull the pull the stress to the syllable ne, which is right before the syllable carrying the suffix shen. Right. So this is how you will write imagination. Imagination. So ne is the one which takes. That's the penultimate or the second last syllable from the syllable which carries the shen suffix. Okay, you need to revise this stress. I see a lot of you do not know it. You will definitely have questions from that section. Please work on that. This suffix rules are very important, and you have several suffix. So either follow that PDF that is shared in the supplementary tab section to have a more summarized version of that. Of course, watching the lecture is more recommended, but at least look at that sample document so that you don't go. Okay, anyway, so the next one is confidence. Confidence. What category of word is this confidence? Confident is what is an adjective. Confidence is a noun, right? So where are you going to mark it? On the first syllable. Okay, so this also goes to the first syllable because this is what is this? Confidence is a noun. So it has to take it on the first syllable. On. Then the next one is certain. Certain.
Ma'am,
What
A.
category? Certain. Certain. But what is the category of certain? Tell me that. He's certain about something. It is certain that so and so will happen.
Ma'am, adjective.
It's an adjective. So where would you mark it? So it's a
Ma'am,
nice
O.
syllable. First syllable. Yes. It has to be marked on the first syllable. Okay. Then comes resolution. Yeah. Resolution. Resolution.
Ma'am, second. Zo.
No. So is not the one that takes it. The next one.
Ma'am,
Third one which will take it. Resolution. Because it has again shin suffix. Right. Now next one is amount. Amount. This one I want you to pay a little attention. Amount. Where do you think the stress is?
mount.
On mount. And that's right. So but what is the reason? What's the reason we are not marking it on? So what is amount? Amount is basically it's a verb, right? Sorry, it's a noun. So ideally you should be marking it on the first syllable. But in this case, we mark it on the second one. What is the reason? Why is amount marked on the second syllable? Reason is that the first syllable it's actually what? It's a shwa. And if you have heard the lectures carefully, or at least in the last class if you had attended, I think I did discuss that in detail in the last session. So shwa is what? It's an unstressed vowel. So all the vowel sounds that you have in the English language, they're stressed. That is, they can take stress on it. But this is that one pure vowel, one monophthong vowel, the total 12 that you have, which is unstressed. So the O sound, it's called, it's a name, it's called Shva, Shwa. Okay? So this is that particular vowel sound, which does not have any stress on it. Because this one doesn't have a stress on it, this mark also is stress mark. So since it cannot take the stress, obviously the stress automatically falls on the second syllable. That is the reason why in amount, even though the word itself is a noun, we do not mark the stress on the first syllable, and that we mark it on the second. Because your first syllable is a schwa sound, which is an unstressed one. Do not carry the stress. Okay, that's the reason. So keep an eye for these kind of words, particularly the one which carries the schwa sound, because if you have that thing in a word, then at least that syllable which carries this schwa sound will not participate in stress. That will remain unstressed. Okay, so like let's take one more example. If you have a word like, um, what do I give you? Let's use the word emphasis. So if you have a word like emphasis, right? Please look at your chat. You have a word like emphasis. Where do you think the stress here is? How many syllables in this word again? Emphasis?
3.
3, right? And what category of word is this emphasis? What is the category of this word? It's a noun, right? It's a noun.
No.
So by that logic, it has to be marked on the first syllable, and it is marked on the first syllable. However, even if it were in the case, the second syllable, which is fur, will not participate in the stress marking because it carries again what? It carries a schwa. So that is anyway marked out. Although we already know that emphasis is a noun, so we'll mark it on the first syllable. That is okay. I mean, there's no confusion there. But I'm just trying to tell you, even otherwise, we don't choose. Even if we had considered cis, it would have still made sense. But what you cannot consider at all is the second syllable of fur because it carries the unstressed vowel sound schwa. So that we don't even bother. If any syllable carries that particular sound, then we don't even bother about whether the stress can be on that. It's unstressed. Question would be between the other syllables, which one takes it. And in the case of emphasis, because it's a noun, the stress falls on the first syllable. That's all. Okay, so then comes monthly in the worksheet. Monthly, the word monthly. Monthly. What is monthly? Monthly is a monthly expenditure.
Adjective.
It's an adjective. Monthly adjective. Yeah, monthly is an adjective. Correct. So where do you mark it? Monthly can be both an adjective and what is that? Adverb, right? Whatever the category is, where will you mark this first? Monthly. It has an ly suffix. So all these ly suffixes will take the. They usually are the ones which do not cause any. As in, they automatically have the stress on the first syllable. So er, or, ly, and y. All of these suffixes, they will take the stress on the first syllable. If you have a suffix which is either ly, what is that? Er, or, okay, or y, simply y, right? So all of these suffixes, they take it on the first syllable. So ly then, because it's a suffix that takes on the first syllable, monthly will get it on the first syllable. One. Okay. Because even otherwise, if you look at it, monthly is simply a word which is a monosyllabic word without the suffix ly, right? So it will retain the stress. Simple. Okay. Repetition. I see. Just give me a moment. Let me show you something, and then I'll come back to the worksheet, because I see that a lot of you haven't actually seen the last lecture, except for a few. So for your benefit, please, the ones who have come today, I just want to show you. You can find this document on your supplementary tab section, the one that I'm going to share right now. Okay, I showed this in the last class. We discussed this also. So there is a document like this, which is called, I think, the stress patterns in English or something. Please make sure that you go through that. Okay, it has all these rules. It's a 10-page, 11-page PDF. Basically, PDF of a slide. Sorry, PPT. So just run through that so that you have a better idea. It's basically a summarized version of what you've heard in the lecture. So at least if not the lecture, please go through this one to understand how the stress pattern works. Okay. So there are some of these things there. Please make sure that you look at it. Okay. All right. Now we'll go back to the worksheet now. So the next word that you have in the worksheet is monthly. We did. Next one. Reputation. Yeah. This one is reputation. Repetition. This has a shun suffix. So obviously the stress will
Then
be on
T.
te. Yeah, correct. So te will take the stress because it has a shun suffix. Then witness. Next one is witness.
Midnight.
Witness. Where is it? Witness.
Then second syllable.
Witness is what? Witness is what? It is a noun, right? So where do you mark? It's a disyllabic noun. So on the first syllable. Witness has to be marked on the first syllable. Okay. Then excellent. 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 Excellent is what? This is is an
Adjective.
excellent work. Adjective. So again, you mark it on first syllable. Adjectives, almost all of them, they'll be marked on first syllable. So the moment you have an adjective, you can decide that it is a first syllable. You don't have to bother put anything. It's only the nouns and the verbs and all which would have this, marked on second syllable. And that even nouns also, all of them are marked on the first syllable. The problem only comes with nouns and adjectives when they have a suffix attached to it. So if the suffix is there, then you have to see what kind of suffix does it have. Is it a suffix which causes a a change in the stress pattern, or is it something that is neutral, or is it something that will by default take it on the first syllable? Just be mindful of what kind of suffix it has. Okay, or is it a suffix which has a long vowel or diphthong in it? Because if that is the case, then it will attract the stress on itself, right? Uh, yeah. Okay. So excellent is on the first syllable. Civilization then has a shan suffix.
Z.
Z. Yeah, on Z. Penultimate syllable Z. Now, exploit is again something that can be used as a noun uh, and a verb. So, which means it will have both, right? So, on the first syllable, if it is used as a noun, on the second syllable, if it is used as a verb, right? Good. Transportation, shan suffix again
Say.
on take,
Say.
right? So, transportation, this is the one which is going to take the stress. Okay. Factorial. Factorial. So it has a EL suffix, IAL suffix. So this is an I category suffix. I don't know if you've noticed when I showed you that PPT. I category suffixes, no? EL, IKEL, ITI, ITUde, right? All of the suffixes that begin with the I word, I letter, right? They all take the stress on, again, just like the shen suffix, it takes it on the penultimate syllable. So factorial, we are checking if factorial behaves the same way. Can you tell me how is it marked in factorial?
Toe.
Mm, factorial, yes. So on t, right? The second syllable is what we are going to use because el, uh, the last two carries the suffix el, and the one right before that is t. So we mark it on t. Factorial. Okay. Then analogy. Analogy.
Law.
Huh? So it has a logy suffix. So logy suffix again, how does it behave?
Then
Logy
first
suffix,
factorial.
LOG, GRA, PHY. How do those suffixes behave? They usually take the stress before one of these suffixes. Again, penultimate, right? They also behave like shan, shall, any. So graphy, 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 LOGY, logy, TAL, tull, able, ABLE, ARYRE, CIAN, as in technician electrician, right? Then shiel as in provincial, CIAL. These are again the kind of suffixes which take the stress on the penultimate syllable. So here, where will it be in that
Then
case? Uh, well, analogy. On the second one, right? That is analogy, correct. Then comes family.
then first.
Family. Family is first because it's a noun, right? Then ashamed. Ashamed.
Second.
Second.
Again, this is a case where, although this is a ashamed is what I'm ashamed of somebody. Ashamed is what? What category is ashamed?
Then adjective.
Hmm. I'm ashamed. Yeah, I'm proud. So this is what adjective. Ideally should be marked on the first syllable, but then in ashamed again, the first syllable is what? It's a schwa. It's an unstressed. That syllable is occupied by the unstressed vowel sound schwa. Shamed. So obviously you cannot mark the stress on that. So then you move to the second syllable. Okay. Then comes resign. Resign.
First. First.
Resign. What is the category? Resign. Resign. Resignation is noun, but what is resign? Resign is
I
a verb.
think
Uh,
verb.
so then it is marked down. The stress is on the
Second.
second. Right? So resign. Then comes suddenly. Suddenly, seriously, we can do both of them together. Both have the same stress pattern. Where do you mark it?
Second.
Second. Why second? What is suddenly and seriously? They are both adverbs, right? And has an ly suffix. So your stress has to be on the first syllable, right? Suddenly, seriously, both on the first syllable. Okay. Then comes advisor. So I have put it TR or OR because there are some texts which use the ER spelling, some would use the OR spelling. So whatever the case is, where is the stress? Advisor. This has a ER OR suffix. I remember, I think 2 minutes before I told you if you have an ER or OR suffix, then stress is on the first syllable. Advisor. So advisor, right? With ER or OR. Then it is subset. Next one is subset. Subset. Subset is what? It's a noun. So it has to be marked on the first syllable. Subset.
First level.
Right? Yeah. Next is invasion. Invasion. There are a lot of
Second.
words here. Invasion, correct. Second one. This is way, right? Invasion. Insect. Insect.
Then first.
First one. Correct. Because it's a noun, right? Then
Noun.
exhibition. Exhibition.
Second.
Second is which one? I don't. Exhibition. B, right? That is the one which will carry
Yes, ma'am.
because it's right before shan. Then uplift. Uplift.
First.
Uplift, yeah. Uplift will take it on the first. So this is what uplift is a verb, right? So it is a disyllabic verb. So should it be on the first syllable or the second syllable?
First level.
Okay, fine. So it's by rule actually should be on the second syllable because that's how the rule says. But in uplift's case, it is on the first syllable. Okay, so this is again an exception, like the case of imagine. Okay, then comes comprehension. Comprehension.
Second.
Second last, that's hen. Right? Comprehension. So hen carries it. Affect. Affect. Affect is a verb. Affect is a verb.
Second. Fair.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Affect. Like affect. Right. And then comes issue. Issue can be both a noun and a verb. So if it is used as a noun, then we mark it on the first syllable. Right?
First level.
Yeah. And if you use it as a verb, do we change it to the second syllable? The stress?
Yes,
No.
ma'am.
No. In this case, no. Okay. Issue again is a kind of word wherein we use both, whether as a verb or a noun, we'll use it on the first syllable. Don't be bothered about these words like issue, uplift, imagine. We will not ask you those things in the exam. This is just to give you an understanding that the not all the words in English will fall in the same category. You will see some exceptions. It's just to show you that part. Okay, in the exams, you don't expect these kind of questions. We won't ask you this. Observation. Next one. Observation.
Second.
What is second? Don't tell me second. Please tell me the syllable.
Way.
Way.
Way, right? Way is what will carry the stress. Discover. Discover.
Cur. CO.
Yes, on cur, right? Discover will take it on a cur because this is again it is a
PR.
prefix, right? Prefix don't count for the stress marking, and then cover is what it's a disyllabic verb, and disyllabic you know how it works. So it overall you need to see that if the stress is marked on the second one. Okay. Okay. Just give me a moment. I have something to clarify. Uh, syllables. Meanwhile, you can look at the next word, which is improvement. Improvement. Now, this what suffix does it have? It has an ment suffix, right? We discussed about neutral suffixes in the last session. So ness, hood, hood, then ish, ish, and then ment, meant, uh, age, age, right? These are all the kind of suffixes which do not cause any change in the original stress of the word when added to that word, right? So they're called neutral suffixes. So improve, that means when you have a word like this, you should know that you should know where the stress in the word improve is. Because we are going to retain that stress on the word improvement also, since ment is a neutral suffix. So where is improve marked? Stress is on which syllable in improve?
AM.
First.
First or second? It has two syllables. So does it have it on second one? Improve.
Prove.
Okay, on prove. So uh, wherever the stress is in improve, which is on the second one, prove, the stress is maintained for improvement also. So improve also has the same position for stress. Improvement also has the same position for stress, which is on the second syllable. Because this particular suffix that you have ment, it's a neutral suffix. It does not bring about any change in the stress pattern. Okay, that's the reason we do that. Right. Then comes assign. Assign. This is what? This is a verb. Second syllable, because the first syllable is anyway, it's a shwa, so it will not participate. And also it's a disyllabic verb. So in disyllabic verbs, the stress is always on the second syllable. Okay, voluntary. Voluntary.
Mempo. Wall.
The
First
first syllable, right? Because it has the the ry suffix, which is uh, not neutral. It carries the stress on the first syllable. Then comes so what is that? So if you have a word like volunteer, where do you mark the stress? Volunteer. I'm interested in knowing the answer for this. Volunteer. Volunteer is a noun, right? Volunteer is a noun. Voluntary is an adjective.
Then I
That is
think
also
tier.
one reason we can.
EA.
Why on tier? Why do you not mark it on the first syllable? Volunteer. Because it's a noun. Why are we not marking it on the first syllable if it isn't volunteer? No? What is the reason why we are not marking it on the first syllable for volunteer, even though it is a noun? That's the question. Because of the nature of the last syllable, right? It's tier, right? Volunteer. So it has a diphthong. So whenever there's a diphthong in a syllable, the stress is attracted to that particular syllable, which carries the uh, diphthong. Or if it's a long vowel, then even that will behave the same way, right? It will attract the stress onto the syllable carrying the long vowel. So in this case, here has it's a diphthong, so hence the stress is shifted onto that on the word, right? If we did not have a diphthong there, then probably the stress would have remained on the first syllable given it's a noun. Because of the diphthong, it has moved to that. Okay. Okay. Next is paradox. Paradox. Noun. It is paradox is a noun, so it is marked on
First.
the
Yeah.
first syllable. First syllable. Correct. Then the last one is priority. Priority.
OR.
ITY. So it's an I, correct. OR on the O syllable because ITY, the last one, it's a suffix. It's an I category suffix. All the I category suffix takes over the penultimate or the syllable right before the one carrying the suffix. So on the second syllable, O, prior, right? O carry, priority. That's how you say. Okay. All right.
Then it
Um,
has Y in last.
Sorry, it's not Y. It is IT. See, it's prior and then priority. The combination is between the word prior and then it. It's not Y. Okay. Okay. Now the last question here. We'll stop with this. You have to identify which words among them carry an aspiration. Now, what is aspiration? There are two conditions for a sound to be considered aspirated. First of all, you need to know that in the English language, there are only three sounds which have the property of aspiration, which are p, t, and k. Right? Pataka, what are they? They are voiceless stops, voiceless stop sounds. So these are the only three sounds in the English language which has the capacity to be aspirated. Aspirations are found only on these three. It's unlike our languages. In our languages, we have many sounds that are aspirated, right? So you have obviously we have the kha, right? We also have the th. We also have the fa, right? Which is maybe say which is something that aligns with the Pataka in English. But we know we have many more than that, right? So we have cha, we have cha, we have tha, right? We have tha. So our languages have a lot of aspirational sounds, right? Aspirated sounds, aspirational sounds. But in English, the only three sounds which are capable of taking aspiration, which is that additional puff of air as you articulated, right? That is only that capability is only found in these three sounds, the three voiceless stops, which are ka, ja, and ka, right? Again, just having that sound somewhere in the word, some syllable in a given word will not make it aspirated. There are two conditions to it. First condition is that this particular sound, whether pad or ka, it has to appear in a stressed syllable, right? So the per sounds that appear in a stressed syllable are the only ones that are counted for aspiration. Not only that, okay, so they not just have to, the condition is not just that they appear in the stressed syllable of the word. The condition, an additional condition is also that they should appear in the beginning of the stressed syllable. So if I have a syllable and if I have that, just having that sound somewhere in the syllable will not help. It has to appear in the beginning of the stressed syllable. Right? So two conditions. One is that the syllable carrying the sound should be stressed, and additionally, in that stressed syllable which carries them, there should be the first sound in the syllable. Okay. So let's look at few examples to understand it better. So we'll look at the questions itself. Skill. We'll stop it in another 3-4 minutes. Okay. Skill. So here you have k sound. So is it a part of the stress syllable in skill? Skill has how many syllable? It has only one syllable, right? Skill. E
Yes.
sound. That's the only one. So it's definitely a part of the stressed syllable because there's only one syllable there anyway. But is it the first sound of the stress syllable in skill?
No, ma'am.
No. Right? So therefore here k is not aspirated. For it to be aspirated, it has to appear as the first sound. Now look at the word, second word, kill. Here is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
aspirated? Yes. Because now both the conditions are fulfilled. It is a part of the stress syllable. Again, this is a monosyllabic word, so stress is automatically on the given syllable. And not only that, but we see that ka is also the first sound of the stress syllable. So in this case, it is aspirated. Skill, no aspiration. Kill, aspiration is available for ka. Okay. Okay, so if you have understood that, so similarly for per and ter, same thing works. Okay, same rule is applied in the case of the per sound and the ter sound also. So look at pill. Is pill aspirated? In
Yes, ma'am.
is per aspirated in pill? Yes, right? Yes, it is aspirated. Is it aspirated in speak?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, right? No, no aspiration. Now you have another word which has both ter and per. Is any one among the two aspirated in this? Traps.
No, ma'am.
Straps.
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, because again, this is monosyllabic and the first sound here is so we cannot make it aspirated. Right. Fine. Then ticket. Ticket.
Yes, ma'am.
Then
Yes,
aspirated.
this is aspirated here. Ter. Which ter is aspirated? The first ter or the
First
last
one.
ter?
First one.
First one. Is the k aspirated here? Ticket.
No, ma'am.
No.
Where is the stress in this word? Which syllable carries the stress? Second one or the first one?
First.
First one, right? So then the
First
other
one.
syllable, the other k, second t and the k in the second syllable are out of question because anyway that is not stressed. That syllable itself is not stressed. So the only the first sound in ticket is aspirated. Okay, then comes testify. Testify.
Yes, ma'am.
So okay, which one? Which is the first one or the second one?
Second T.
First one.
Okay. Why the first one? Why the second?
Ma'am, because TI is stressed and also the pronunciation
Uh,
is T.
Correct. The first one is the one that is stressed, not the second one. Because see, second one, this is again a monosyllabic word which has the I5 suffix added to it, right? So the stress is on the words test. So only the first t here is stressed. So aspirated, sorry, not stressed. Because that is the one which carries the stress also. Okay. Okay, this one. Photography. Photography.
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Photography. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Second, in photography, the t is stressed. That the t syllable is the one that is stressed. And t is the first sound of that syllable. So it is stressed. Photography. That's right. How about photographic? Photographic. Here it is not stressed because in photographic, the stress moves to the third syllable graph. Okay. So when you change the suffix ik here, because whenever you have the ik suffix, the stress has to move from wherever it is. In this case, it is stressed here, right? When you add the IC suffix in a word, what happens to it? The stress moves to the penultimate syllable, which is graph in this case. So this is the stress syllable in photography. So then is the ter stressed here? No,
No, ma'am.
because it's not in the stressed category. Yeah. Okay. Then comes tractor. Yeah, tractor is a little, it is a cluster. This kind of words, it is, it's debatable. Some people would say there is no stress and no aspiration given there's a trill, raw sound after that. But I think in our lecture, we take it as something that has uh, an aspiration. So we can say that is aspirated tractor. Okay, there's a tractor on the field. So here again, is aspirated the first, not the second one, because the stress is on the first syllable. Inspire. Inspire. Is it
Yes,
stress?
ma'am.
Sorry,
Aspirated.
aspirated. Is it inspire?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is the stress in inspire? You tell me that first.
Ma'am,
Inspire.
fire.
Is it? It's inspire. So in and spire. Spire is your syllable.
Then ma'am, no. It's not
Then
aspirated.
no, right? Yeah, not aspirated. Inspire also, it's not aspirated. Okay. Then comes time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Aspirated.
In this case, yes, definitely. Instantaneous. That's a bigger word. Instantaneous. Four syllable.
Yes, ma'am.
Instantaneous. What? So, which one? Which is the stress
Ma'am,
syllable?
third.
First?
10.
Ma'am, third. Te.
Instantaneous. What category is this word? Instantaneous. 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 Instantaneous is what category of word? Sorry.
Ma'am, adjective.
Instantaneously. Yeah, instantaneous is an adjective mostly. Yeah. So then the stress is on the which
Third
syllable is the
syllable.
stress on?
Te.
Instantaneous. think I'll myself have to check it. Instantaneous is an adjective for sure, but I have to check if it is marked on the first syllable. Instantaneous. Ideally, it should be marked on the first, given that it's an adjective and that the suffix is not something that causes a movement in the stress. That is the case, you won't have anything aspirated. None of that. You have two terms here. Both of the terms won't be aspirated. But I need to check this. That means distinct units. So I think the is moves the stress to the syllable T, instantaneous.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Third.
that means so on the third syllable, so it falls on instant and then T. That one carries the stress. So if that carries the stress, then this one will be aspirated for sure. Okay. Here is where the stress is in instantaneous. So that ter, which is the second ter, is aspirated for sure. Okay. Yeah. Right. So point is that if you have to mark the aspiration accurately, then you have to know the stress position perfectly. If you know the position of the stress in the word properly, can you make a decision on whether the sound part or curve, which is a part of that syllable, is stressed or not. Okay, so first knowledge is of the stress, and second thing is seeing if it is appearing as the first sound of the stress. Both of these conditions together will help you identify the aspirated sound. Okay. Yeah, these were some additional questions. That's okay. We're not going to bother with that. I hope you know about these plural markers and all that, right? So if you have a
Yes,
voiced
ma'am.
sound at the end, if the word ends with a voiced consonant, then the plural marker is z, right? Z, this one. If it ends with a voiceless sound, then it is s. And if it ends with sounds like sh, s, s, ch, j, then it is, right? IZ. So churches, not churches, right? Churches, judges, right? It will take an is mark. Think so. Okay, all right. In sentence, we've already overshot by 20 minutes. So, if you have any more questions, please do write to us. Once again, we'll have the live session on Wednesday between 5 to 6 for one last time before your exam. So, in case there are any unresolved questions, if you have any more doubts that you think you haven't understood or you need more clarity on, please join the session and ask us for any questions that you have. Okay. But otherwise, I think we are winding for the semester. Uh, we have covered most of all topics that we thought were a little difficult for you to follow. Okay. Any questions, or can we wrap up for today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Then I'll see you again on Wednesday in case you are joining. So thank you so much. If not, then all the best for your exams on Sunday. I hope you can clear the exam and score well.
Thank you, ma'am.
See
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
All right. Thank you.